Hey folks, Levi here once again. Welcome back to my channel. This is my channel shirt. Remember, Levi McNally 983. I'll get to show you, but I hope y'all enjoyed my review of Justice League: The New Frontier. That is on my channel right now. If y'all want to check that out. Sorry, I just get impatient with technology. But yep, this is remember the mass profile picture. This is my channel right now, my new channel. So thank you for the 114 subs, guys. Hey, I just appreciate people subscribing. Yeah, and I hope the audio was good too, because I want the audio to be good. But anyway, guys, um this is a Marvel review. This is a revisit review. I reviewed this film back in this movie back in 2015, I believe. Yeah, 2015, when Avengers: Age of Ultron came out. But since I'm doing superhero marathon, and I'm on the remember I'm on 2000 superhero movies, superhero films that came out 2000 to 2009, and I'm on the year 2008. Remember, this is the second movie that came out 2008. This the second superhero movie that came out 2008, and this came out in May. This is the first MCU movie, Marvel Cinematic Universe, which has been going on since for 16 years. 16 years. They have many movies. Like, gosh, so hard to think about. But this is the first one, and I love this movie. A classic, a great movie. One of the best superhero films ever made, in my opinion. That is Iron Man. Love this movie. Love this film. Great movie. I don't care what nobody says. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. Just like Christopher Reeve is Superman, Michael Keaton is Batman. Tony Stark. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. He is Iron Man. He is Tony Stark. He was perfect for the role. But anyway, this is just the Blu-ray I have of it. I love these Marvel covers. My only issue with this is that you, in special features, you do get to talk about, you get to see the Hall of Armor, which is fine, but and some deleted extended scenes, which is fine. But the Invisible Iron Man, they talk about the character of Iron Man, which is cool. No, don't get me wrong. I love the character of Iron Man. He's my second favorite character. My favorite Marvel character, Spider-Man, Marvel character is Spider-Man. I never read any of the Iron Man comics. I never read any comic books, but still, uh, yeah, this made me a fan of Iron Man watching this film. I remember when this came out in 2008. Theater we my my theater experience wasn't the best. The scene when he's in the air, when he's wearing the suit and the military's after him in the jets. There was this lady that brought her, I think, a 2-month-old baby in or something like that, a baby, and the baby was crying, and she sat right next to me, so I could barely hear the movie. I heard baby crying on me. I'm like, don't bring little babies in movie theaters, okay? If they're being too loud. Because remember, I'm paying to see the movie, not to hear baby talk. If your baby's talking or screaming or making loud noise like that or crying, you need to exit the theater. You know, you know, it's just show respect. It's a movie theater, not daycare. I'm gonna take this cover off. I do love these covers though. Only disappointment is I wish we had a behind the scenes of this movie. But I reviewed this back in 2015 on my other channel, and now this is a revisit review, and I love this movie. Let me get into it though. Talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe a little bit. And this is basically this is phase one. That's what Marvel calls it. When they started out. The films are based on the characters appearing in the Marvel comics. The franchise includes several television series, short films, digital series. Thanks to this movie, Iron Man, and the success of it, and Jon Favreau and all of them, that's why you got that. I think you started with Kevin Feige. You have Phase One, which was Iron Man, yeah, to the Avengers, and then you got Phase Two, Three, Four, Phase Five. I'm not gonna read all their movies, but you know, let me get into the production of Iron Man. Talk about how the film got made, the cast, and all that stuff. Talk about the movie itself. Well, in April 1990, Universal Pictures bought the rights to develop Iron Man for the big screen. Now, before I get into go any further, a time where in the 90s, well, first Marvel, you had the first Marvel movie that was Howard the Duck, which wasn't successful. It was a flop. But then you had the TV movies that were the Incredible Hulk movies. They were TV movies. I enjoyed the Incredible Hulk Returns. That's a fun movie. I do love the Charlie Incredible Hulk. Decent. I love the Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. My favorite Punisher movie. Here everywhere's just going up. But Death Incredible Hulk I thought was disappointing. Captain America 1990 sucked. I've seen Fantastic Four and The 1994 version, it's never been released, thank God. Doesn't need to be. That needs to be put in the trash, in my opinion. I'm glad Marvel never released that. I'm glad Stanley never approved it because it's a piece of shit film, in my opinion. Hmm. Maybe for Agent of Shield though, with David Hasselhoff, I like it. Could have been better though. Blade was, Marvel was not successful at that time, but when you have Blade, the first Blade movie, that was a huge hit. Then you got X Men, and then you got Blade 2 underrated too. Then you got Spider Man, which were both huge hits. A Blade 2 I think was a hit, but it didn't get. I don't think it's underrated. I think it didn't get the reviews at the time, which it didn't deserve that. Yeah, but X Men and Spider Man they did really well, and Blade, X Men, Spider Man, they did really well for Marvel. Then you had Daredevil, which did get the director's cut, which I like director's cut, but that wasn't well received. X2 X Men United, which I think got really good received. The Anne Lee Holt version that sucked. Punisher is underrated. Spider-Man 2 was a great sequel. Blade Trinity, Elektra, they sucked. Fantastic Four 2005, despite the mixed reception, I still love it. Ultimate Adventures the movie, well, they're just direct-to-video movies, so but Ultimate Adventures the movie was great. So was Rise 2. X-Men Last Stand sucked in my opinion. Then and then the year before this, you had Ghost Rider, which is meh, not very good. Spider-Man 3, which sucks. I know with studio interference, but part of me, I'm sorry to say it, blame Sam Raimi on that too. But I still hate Spider-Man 3. Still one of the worst superhero films ever made. I might say this so I could watch it over Madam Web and stuff, but still, it's still a disappointing movie regardless. And Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer, underrated movie, fun movie. But those movies, they didn't get well received. This was a time where some Marvel movies in the 2000s were either bad. Some I thought were bad. Some like I said, some I did hate, and some I liked. But you gotta watch those reviews. But I guess more of the time when you had, Ghost Rider, Spider-Man 3, and Princess Bride, Super Surfer, which, to be honest, folks, wouldn't really, they got mixed receptions. All three movies did. They're probably thinking at the time, well, this is gonna suck. But I think Kevin Feige changed all that with Iron Man. You know, apparently this film's been in development hell, I guess, since 1990. But you're going to direct a low-budget film based on Stanley property. By February 1996, 20th Century Fox required the rights from Universal. I guess around a bit went a lot with studios, but again, like I said, 1990, you have Captain America movie come out, so they really couldn't make an Iron Man movie because at the time Marvel was not a hit at this time. Their film was not doing well. In January 1997, Nicolas Cage expressed interest in portraying the character, but he did go portray on Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze in the 2007 film, the year before this. While in September 1998, Tom Cruise expressed interest in producing as well as starring as Iron Man in the film. That never happened. Jeff Venture and Iron Man co-creator Steve Stanley co-wrote a story for Fox, which Venture adapted into a screenplay, and includes a new science fiction origin for the character and featured MODOK as the villain. Tom Rothman, president of production at Fox, credited the screenplay with finally making him understand the character. In May 1999, Jeffrey Kane was hired to rewrite Venture and Lee's script. That October, Quentin Tarantino was approached to write and direct the film. Fox sold the rights to New Line Cinema. The following December, reasoning that was also the eventual lease script was strong. The studio had too many Marvel superheroes in development, and we can't make them all. Well, for the time they couldn't make them all because, like I said, around the '90s kind of time, yeah, you had Blade that was successful, but they had too many at the time, too much on their plate, so they really couldn't make it all at once. Well, not at the time. Alfred Gough on History After a Movie said, "We worked on my partner's research to find a realistic way to deal with the suit. The idea was needed the suit to stay alive. He's the same. It's the same guy we used with Spider-Man 2 to come up with Doc's chips and what the arms are made of, how they work. The manager was the terrorist who masqueraded as a rich playboy who Tony knew. By July 2000, the film was being written for New Line Cinema by Ted Elliott and Terry Russo. McLean scripted the idea of Nick Fury cameo to set up his own film. In June 2001, New Line Cinema entered talks with Joss Whedon, a fan character, to direct, but that didn't happen. But Whedon did go actually to direct the Avengers in 2012, I believe. And in December 2002, McLean's had turned in a complete script. New Line took a unique approach to writing the film script, hiring David Esther, David S. Goyer, which I'm glad they didn't do that because David S. Goyer directed and wrote Black Trinity, and that sucked. So I'm glad he didn't get involved in this movie. Sitting in the room supply talking to camera about Iron Man for a few days. Hayden was hired in 2004 to write a script. He reworked scripts that had been written by Jeff Fincher and Alfred Gough and Miles Miller. I think they were the creators of Smallville, which included the villain, the Mandarin, and Pepper Potts as a love interest. Hayden removed the Mandarin and instead chose to pit Iron Man against his father, Howard Stark, who becomes War Machine. He said, "You want to try to marry your hero with your villain as much as possible, for the reasoning behind making Howard the villain." He also made Bethany Cave the film's celebrity Sister of Potts. In December 2004, the studio attached director Nick Cosco's project for a Target 2006 release. However, this deal ultimately fell through. I'm not going too fast, so reading. And Iron Man's film rights returned to Marvel. In November 2005, Marvel Studios worked to start development from scratch, and announced Iron Man as the first independent feature. The character was the only major one not already depicted in live action. Paramount Pictures was announced as Marvel's distribution partner for Iron Man. According to associate producer Jeremy Latman, we went about all 30 writers and they all passed. Saying, wow, that's a lot of writers to go through. They were uninterested in the project due to both the obscurity of the character. I don't think Iron Man was a huge character in the comics. I guess he wasn't. I can't say that, but more production. The film did have a script, though. Early on, pictures of the film also directly referenced Spider-Man 2, identifying Stark as the creator of Otto Octavius. In order to build the general public's awareness of Iron Man and elevate him to the level of popularity as Spider-Man or Hulk. So I guess he wasn't that popular of a character at the time. They probably didn't want to risk making this movie because they think, well, it's just not going to do well. You know, the information Marvel received from the focus groups were used to formulate and Ward's building plan, which included releasing 3 anime short films ahead of the film's release. The shorts were called Iron Man Ovelets. I can't say it, yeah. But in pre-production, you get Jon Favreau, who was hired to direct the film in 2006, celebrating the job by going on a diet, losing 70 pounds. Favreau had wanted to work with Marvel producer Avi Arad on another film because they both worked on Daredevil. If you remember, he was Hoagie, not Hoagie, Foggy. I forget the damn name of the character in Daredevil with Ben Affleck, which I like that movie, both versions. The director found the opportunity to create a ultimate spy movie in Iron Man. They got inspiration from Tom Clancy, James Bond, and RoboCop. Compared this first to an independent film, Favreau wanted to make Iron Man a story of an adult man literally reinventing himself after discovering the world is far more complex than he originally believed. He changed the Vietnam War of the character to Afghanistan, as he did not want to do a period piece. Art McNum and Matt Holloway were hired to write the script, while Mark Ferguson obviously wrote another version, with Favreau complying both team scripts. John August, the polishingly combat version, comic staff. Were also called upon Favreau to give the advice on the script. 2006, Arad left Marvel Studios to become an independent producer because he was on the staff where the deal was made for Iron Man. He retained producer credit on the film. But July 2006, Matthew Lipton was attached to serve as a cinematographer. Favreau planned to cast a new member in the title role. Those movies don't require an expensive star. Iron Man is the star. The superhero is the star. The success of the X-Men Spider-Man without being star-driven, that the film does have an upside commercially those considered for the role, including Jim Caviezel, Timothy Olyphant, and Sam Rockwell. Rockwell was approached and was interested, but he did get to play Justin Hammer in Iron Man 2, so at least he got to be in the sequel. But Favreau then met with Robert Downey Jr., who was convinced he was the right actor for the role, and I'm so glad, Favreau, you were a genius for making him into the role. Favreau chose Danny, a fan of the comic, because he felt the actor's cast made him an appropriate choice for the part. Now, Robert Downey Jr., he did drugs. He got arrested. He did some illegal stuff. I believe. I don't know if it's true, but I think when Robert was drunk one night, walked into some lady's house. She had her 2 kids, and he jumped into the kid's bed, slept on the kid's bed, and the woman, in the late. And I think he got caught. The lady, I guess, saw him in her son's bed. I freaked out. And if you ever seen Reel's channel, The Price of Fame, before I hear it, that's where I see it from. Then he got arrested. And Robert Downey Jr. went through a lot of hard times. Was arrested, got in trouble a lot. It made him an appropriate choice for the part, explaining that best and worst moments of Robert's life have been in the public eye. He had to find an inner balance to overcome obstacles that went far beyond his career. So that's Tony Stark. Favreau faced opposition from Marvel Entertainment in casting Downey, but I think Downey, did a screen test, and I think they were impressed. It was my job as a director to show that it was the best choice creatively. Everybody knew he was talented. Certainly, by studying the Iron Man role and developing the script, I realized the character seemed to line up with Robert in all the good and bad ways. Casting director Sarah Holly Finn suggested Downey create an audition tape to help persuade them. The executives were still not convinced. Despite everyone fees recommending Downey for the role, which resulted in Favreau leaking the news that Downey was in talks with the press. The positive reaction to this story helped to convince the executives. Downey cast in the role in 2006. Raquel I already mentioned that. Downey earned $500,000 for the role. While preparing for filming, Favreau and Downey were given a tour of SpaceX by Elon Musk. Downey said Ellen was Tony probably would hang out with, party with, or more like they went on some weird jungle trick together drink. Additional casting for the film occurred. Next few months, you had Terrence Howard was announced as the role of James Rhodes, who was the character of War Machine. Not in this movie though. He had been the first actor cast for the film. Brenda Foster was cast as love interest Pepper Potts, and Jeff Bridges was cast in a role. Well, he was Obadiah Stane. Don Cheadle had also been approached for the role of Rhodes, would eventually replace Howard though in the sequel Iron Man 2. Choosing a character to be the villain of the film was difficult, as Favreau felt Iron Man's arch nemesis, the Mandarin, was not feel realistic. After Mark Millar gave his opinion on the script, the Mandarin had been conceived as a rival to Tony, but the Mandarin eventually drilling a hole underneath Stark Industries to steal all Stark's technology for himself. Crazy, terrible, underwhelming. Favreau felt only in the sequel with an ultra-tone would fantasize of Mandarin's rings. The decision to push him into the background has come like Lord of the Rings. Favreau also wanted Iron Man to face a giant enemy. The switch from Mandarin to Obadiah Stane was done after Bridges was cast in the role. Stane intended to become a villain in the sequel, including at one point combining the character with the Mandarin. Favreau felt it was important to exclude the references. Man called signs of Whiplash, one was Chew. Yeah. The scale model of the Ironmonger suit, which they used the villain for the movie, that's still, after 16 years, that's still an awesome suit to see on screen. Favreau wanted to be believable by showing the destruction of the Iron Man suit in 3 stages. Stan Winston, a fan of the comic book, who Favreau worked with several built metal and rubber versions of the armor. The mark was designed was intended to look like it was built from spare parts. The back is less armored than the front. Stark would use his resource for a forward back. A single 4K version was built. Stuntman fell over inside it, though both the stuntman and the suit were unscathed. The armor was also designed to have only top half a warning time. Stan Winston built a 3000 Meteor version of Ironmonger, a name which Obadiah Stane calls Tony Stark, and himself in the film as a reference, but is never actually used for the suit itself in the film. The animatronic required 5 operators for the suit for the armor was built on. It is some CGI, but it is actual suits they build. The Mark II resembles an airplane prototype with visible flaps. Iron Man comic book artist designed the Mark III. Production was based in for filming started uh, Playa Vista, Los Angeles, California, where they filmed some of this movie. I guess Howard Hughes was one of the inspirations for the comic book. They acknowledged that they would film Iron Man creating the Fly Mark III, where the Hughes Hercules was built. Favreau rejected the East Coast setting the comic books. Film began on March 12, 2007. The first week of film was spent on Stark's captivity in Afghanistan. The cave where Stark is in prison was a 150 to 200 yard 148 100 long set, which had movable forks and cravens to allow creative freedom for the film's crew. Stark's capture was filmed at Lone Pine. Bridges described the approach as a $200 million student film because of the stress for the Marvel executives when the stars were trying to come up with the dialogue on the day of filming scenes. He and Downey would swap characters for rehearsals to see how their own lines would sounded. Potter was less comfortable with them improvising, so Garber would take notes on things she said during rehearsals, offhand moments that were in line with the character to Potts' dialogue. Downey improvised the film's final line, "I am Iron Man," which Feature felt was in line with the character's personality. True, I agree. Samuel Jackson, there will be spoilers. Sorry, there are going to be spoilers for this review. Yeah. Uh, the composer, you have Brendan Dashman, had been a fan of the character since Iron Man, so he created some music for it. For the marketing though of the film, you had the trailer, you had TV spot for the movie. Uh, uh, there, Burger King sold toys for the movie, just don't market it. Yeah. They also had like an Iron Man toy. You also had a. They also had a video game. I do remember for my birthday one time, because this was back in May 2008. Yeah, I was in high school, so I was playing PlayStation 2 games, and for my birthday I got Iron Man, the first Iron Man. The plot goes the same by the movie. You face now you do face Iron Man, of course, but you face like Black Lash Controller, Titanium Man Melter. It's the same story of the movie. You wear the Mark One suit, the big heavy armor suit that he wears to escape Afghanistan. You fight the villains. Iron Man, Tony set out becomes Iron Man, and you put the suit on. I remember flying in the game. That was really cool with the boosters. You know, whatever you want to call it, that Iron Man wears to fly. That's really cool. And it's just cool to be Iron Man. And I didn't really get to face Obadiah because it was a pain in the butt. I probably did, but I don't remember. But yeah, it was a fun game to play. You get to play as Iron Man. You get to wear the Mark One suit. You get to fly and stuff. It was a cool game. Yeah. But yeah, it's on Nintendo DS, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PlayStation Portable, Microsoft Windows. But I only played it on PlayStation 2. Yeah. And okay, let's see. For the cast of the movie, of course, you have Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, Iron Man. He's an industrious genius inventor and playboy. He's CEO of Stark Industries and chief weapons manufacturer for the U.S. military. Robert Downey Jr. I mean, I remember he did like movies like Back to School. He did some movies in the '80s, even though despite some of his drug problems. He was Sherlock Holmes in 2009 and the sequel Sherlock Holmes: Game of Shadows. I remember The Judge, and he was in last year's Opening Year, directed by Christopher Nolan. Yeah, Downey's done quite a bit of movies. He's a good actor. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer did play Batman in Batman Forever. Parents have James Brody. I've only let's see. He was in Four Brothers. He was in Ray, August Rush, and he voiced James and Tiana's father in The Princess and the Frog, and he was in when Martin Lawrence. He was in the first Big Mama's House movie, playing the villain in that film. Yeah. Jeff Bridges, Obadiah Stane, Ironmonger. Like I said, James Brody is in the comics. He's a War Machine, but he's a friend of Stark's. He's the liaison between Stark Industries and the United States Air Force. Uh, Stark Stark business part. Obadiah Stane is his Stark business partner, second command, mentor, and friend. He turns on him to take over the company, eventually building a giant Esco suit to fight Stark. Yeah, and he becomes Ironmonger. But Jeff Bridges, he's done many movies. I think he was in Starman, The Contender, True Grit, the remake, I guess. The Fabulous Baker Boys, The Fisher King with late Robin Williams, The Big Lebowski, which I want to see that movie. Seabiscuit, R.I.P.D. R.I.P.D. Oh, that's a crappy movie. That film sucks. Tron, Tron, the original, and I think the 2010 film Tron Legacy. And Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts, who's Stark's personal assistant, and she's a budding love interest. They do build the romance between them, though. Oh, she's a beautiful woman. But I remember her in Shallow Hal. She did it. She was in Seven, Sliding Doors, Talented Mr. Ripley, The Royal Tippinens. Can't say it right. Sorry. Lisa Pibb as Christine Everhart, reporter for Vanity Fair. I think she was in the Babysitter movies on Netflix. She was an Iron Man. She did was an Iron Man too. I think she was also in. Let's see. She was in Talladega Nights. The Bold of Ricky Bobby with Will Ferrell and John C. Riley. She was in Zookeeper, movie 43. But beautiful woman. Yeah, sorry. And Jon Favreau plays Hoagie, who is Tony's bodyguard. Paul Bettany voices Jarvis. He would later go on to play a character, another character in the MCU, Vision. But that we wouldn't see him until Avengers Age of Ultron, though. And Clark Gregg appears as Phil, an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Phil Coulson. And Samuel Jackson makes a cameo, which I said will be spoilers in here. So if you've never seen Iron Man, do not watch this review. I'm just telling you that so you don't spoil it for yourself. Iron Man premiered on April 14, 2008. It was released in the United States on May 2nd worldwide, and is the first film in the Phase One and the first MCU movie. Became the eighth highest grossing film of 2008. Received praise from critics. Story for Downey performance was Favreau's direction, the visual effects, action sequences, and writing. It received two nominations, even though it didn't win or whatever. I don't care. And you got two sequels, Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, and of course, Iron Man. Tony Stark would appear in the Avengers movies and Captain America: Civil War. Yeah. But the film was directed by Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau, his first film role, I think, one of his first film roles, I guess. I remember him in Rudy. He was in Deep Impact, The Breakup, Couples Retreat, I Love You Man, Chef. I remember seeing Chef. I like that movie. Yeah, and of course he was going to be on other Marvel movies, doing the Avengers films, the Spider-Man. I'm talking about the one with Tom Holland, Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, and in Deadpool and Wolverine. I didn't know he was in that. Was he? Oh well. He directed the Jungle Book remake, the Lion King remake, which I hate. The Jungle Book remake, it's alright. I love Cowboys and Aliens. That's underrated. I like Iron Man 2. That's one sequel. Excuse me. I love Elf. Elf is a classic. And it's a Thor Space Adventure. The true Jumanji sequel, in my opinion. But yeah, good director. Screenplays by Mark Fergus, Hope Bissey, Art McCormick, Matt Holloway. Both of them, they've other works were like First Note. They also wrote the script for Cowboys and Aliens. Oh, the best note they wrote scripts like Iron Man and Punisher Warzone, which Punisher Warzone, yeah, more on that later. How I feel about that movie. Based on Iron Man, created by Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, Don Heck, and Jack Kirby. Produced by A.B. Havard, who, like I said, has been producing Marvel movies since the first Blade movie in 1998. So he's been with Marvel for a long time. Kevin Feige, who's been the producer of the Marvel Universe and has been the president of the Marvel Studios, is really responsible for creating Iron Man 2. And he still does it to this day, works on Marvel movies and stuff. Cinematography by Matthew Lipwit, who has worked on films like P.I., Recruitment for a Dream, Noah, uh, The Number 23, the first Venom film, yeah, and Cowboys and Aliens. Edited by Dan LeBon, who worked with Jon Favreau. He worked on Elvis Star Space Adventure, Breakup, and some other Marvel movies too, like of course the sequel Iron Man 2, Thor: The Dark World, Ant-Man, Spider-Man: Homecoming. He's edited those movies as well, and Beverly Hills Cop Act 4 and Bad Boys Are Die that came out this year. Music is by Roman Danish. I can't say the name right. I'm so sorry. He's done score for like Clash of the Titans, the remake of Pacific Rim, Warcraft, A Wrinkle in Time. Production company is Marvel Studios, distributed by Paramount Pictures. It was released May 2nd, 2008, here in the US. It's 126 minutes long. It's about 2 hours, 6 minutes long, I would say. The budget was 130 to $140 million. And then the box office made $595.8 million worldwide. Personally, I think it's better than Dark Knight. Should have made more money than Dark Knight, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, that's a 2 hours, 6 minutes. Uh, let's see. Well, what the plot of this movie is about, sorry. Basically, let me put this cover over here. Flip cover is a bit sharing. But what the story of Iron Man is about is that it tells the story of Tony Stark. He's a billionaire industrialist. He owns Stark Industries. They build weapons and stuff. He's a genius inventor. But he gets kidnapped by the Taliban and he's forced to build a devastating weapon. But instead, uses his intelligence and intimidates Tony builds a high-tech suit of armor. Then escapes captivity. When he uncovers a newbie's plot with global implications, he dons his powerful armor and vows to protect the world and stop those weapons and protect people and right the wrongs that he's done, and he becomes Iron Man. And eventually, some spoilers ahead, he has to face Obadiah Stane, who is his second in command, who was friends with his father, and knew his father for a very long time, plans to kill him and take over the company and, you know, kill a lot more innocent people and just have more power hungry, so Tony must become Iron Man, become the hero he's meant to be, and stop Obadiah Stane and defeat him and basically save the day and become a hero. If that's a bit cheesy to say, but that's the plot in a nutshell for you. You should know the story. It's been around for 16 years. This movie has 16 years, I believe. 2008, 16 years, yeah. So you should know the story of Iron Man. If you haven't seen this movie, shame on you. I'm just kidding. If you haven't seen it, there are spoilers in this video, so do not watch this review. I've already mentioned some spoilers, so I just warn you ahead of time. Anyway, let's get started. The film opens up with you know, with the film ends up opening. Anyway, Iron Man opens up with him talking to with Tony in a military truck. He's talking to some of the military. He's like, "Well, you guys can't talk. You can't even speak." Yeah, we can talk, sir. They talk. They're just talking about you're a woman, and he's joking around. He's very sarcastic. He's holding a beer in his hands, and said, Mr. Stark, did you do all this?" And I'm like, "You're trying to ask me anything." And they said, "Take pictures," and he's doing this, and Stark's like, "No gang signs, no gang signs." He's like, "No, I'm just kidding. Throw it up." Do not post this on your Instagram. They take pictures. They just flash it, Tony. All of a sudden, they get blown up. They get their convoy gets attacked, and the dummy that's supposed to be protecting him though just walks out and says, "Stay here," and then blows up. I'm like, "You were told to stay with Stark and protect him, but okay, you just left him alone." Tony runs out of it, gets blown up. Not blown up. Well, if he's just running, he's on his phone, which I thought was really good. Doesn't know what to do. This missile hits him, hits his heart like really hard, and passed out. The next thing you know, he's in the hands of the Taliban. I can't understand the language, but they're reading, and then it gets titled Iron Man. And then it opens up at a ceremony, 36 hours earlier, I believe, time of the movie. It's all about Tony's father, Howard Stark, who built the Stark Industries. They build weapons, you know, and his dad's been doing this since like the 1940s for a long time. But then he had Tony, and Tony went to MIT. He built a lot of his own stuff. He learned a lot of stuff from his dad. Went to college and all that. And Obadiah Stane, Jeff Bridges was like his friend, his second command. And when Howard Stark died, Obadiah Stane took over. But eventually, Tony came back from college and he took over the company, uh, making Jeff Bridges go back in second in command. And Rhodes, who's played by Terrence Howard, is like, "You're very proud of Tony. A good friend of mine. So let's do it for Tony Stark." But it's not there, Jeff Bridges, Obadiah's like, "As you can see, I'm not Tony Stark. But if I were Tony, I would tell you how much I appreciate this gift, board or whatever." But then, Stark is, Tony's just, but if I were Stark, I'd be busy working around. But he's at the casino, buying off an award ahead of big day in the war. He's just messing around, partying with girls. That's what Tony does. He parties. He loves to party. He's a billionaire playboy. He loves to mess around with women, womanizer, jokes around a lot, doesn't really take anything seriously. But he blows off the award. He doesn't seem to really care. Stark is an alcoholic, I would say, as well. I know in the comics he's a bad alcoholic, but anyway, here he's playing a game. Um, but what happens is he runs into Christine Everhart, Elizabeth, and she questions him about what he does. And he's like, well, and he ends up, sleeping with her. And the next morning she gets up and you meet Pepper, who tells him that you're late. She's like, "You're late for your party." He's like, and you can already tell right. There's already good chemistry, between they're like buddies, but you can tell there's a bit of a love blossoming there a bit, and it builds throughout the whole movie. But anyway, Tony goes to Afghanistan to demonstrate his company's new. It's called a Jericho missile, and you get that scene where he's talking about it, and it shoots off. Tony has a beard, then we get the whole thing. He's captured by the Ten Rings, And you have this man named Jensen, who rebuilds it in his, who rebuilds the reactor in his heart. That's where he gets the reactor in his chest. It saves Stark's life though, because he was gonna die. So he tells him to be careful, and he's freaked out about it first, of course. And the Ten Rings, they come to him and kind of him. So Jensen translates for him, tells him that he wants to build a Jericho missile, and Stark says, "No, I refuse." And they torture him, take him outside. They show him the weapons, and Tony sees all the weapons that have been used to kill his weapons have been to kill people, and he didn't want it that way. And he realized what he's been doing is wrong. And instead of building a weapon, no, they secretly build a powerful electric generator called an alt reactor to power Stark's electrician. But the Rings leader, though, Raza, he offers Stark freedom in exchange, but Stark believes, and they know that he won't let them live. They know they're going to kill him anyway because they know what they want. They know who their location, and Stark realizes that he's got to come out of here. I mean, he's got to get out of here safely. And so they build this that takes some time, but they build a suit of armor. Raza realizes what's going on because they got cameras. He's like, "Are you building my Jericho missile? We're building the missile." And but they're able to Tony is able to convince him, and him and Jensen talk. He's like, "I'm gonna go see my family after this." Right, you? Do you have any family, Stark? Tony? He's like, "So, Stark, you're a man that has everything and yet nothing." Darn smiles about it. And Jensen, I think the cave it changes him as a man. It really changes his perspective on life. It makes him a better man going through this. Uh, he says, "I'm Tony, that's your legacy, Stark. Your weapons in the hands of those murderers." Tony realizes that his goal is to fix what the right is wrong, but they gotta get out of there first. So they build a suit. It's flooded with the Mark One, like I've just showed the picture of. It's not his Iron Man suit yet. I just have to repeat just to help me get into the plot, so I can just helps me remember stuff. Because I almost sit here and go like I'm kind of tonic in the video. Sorry. Um, but they build the machine. You know, I mean, they built the art reactor. They built the Mark One suit. They have to get it ready. They set up the bomb strap on the door. They think that Raza says, "Go do, go take care of it." And he's got to use the computer to set it up, set the suit up, and they blow up. The door blows up because the Raza's the Ten Rings try to get in. They blow up. Raza sends more of his men down, and Jensen realizes he needs more time, so he grabs a machine gun, but he gets, still not but he does get shot. Uh, Suddenly realizing he's trouble, he puts on the suit, and he sneaks in there. They're seeing that they can't see him, and then he punches one guy out, knocks another guy out. His suit gets stuck on a piece of wood or something like that. So the guy tries to shoot him in the head, and the bullet bounces back and hits the guy in the head and kills him. Yeah. Eventually, he's able to knock some of them out. Raza's waiting for to shoot at him, but Tony shoots a weapon in his back. It doesn't kill him. It does scar his face real bad though. Tony, this scene almost makes me cry though when he goes to Jensen. He's like, "Come on, Jensen, come on, let's go. We go see your family." He's like, "I want to be my family. I want this way." And it's just very sad to watch. I know it's a movie, but seeing Jensen's death and seeing Robert Downey Jr.'s reaction of his acting was great. I thought, when he's about to cry, he's like, "It's okay. I want it this way." He's like, "Don't waste your life, Stark. Don't waste it." And he goes down and attacks this man. He puts the suit on, puts them on fire. They're trying to shoot at him and everything, but he hates away. It's when he flies for the first time with a Mark One, but the boosters that fly don't boost don't work. But he does get away from them. But he's walking in the desert for a while. I mean not Stark. Uh, Rhodes with the team of military men. The helicopter they've seen, they find like, "Next time you ride with me, okay?" And then they take off. And he comes back and says, Peppers, cheers of joy to see him. He's like, "Well, I hated job hunting." Well, fun's over. He says, "Hoagie, first of all, I want a Burger King. I want an American cheeseburger. Get some American cheeseburger." And Jeff Bridges, Obadiah have a see him, and he talks to the press, paparazzi, whatever. Does his press conference. He says, I saw things over there that my weapons that killed innocent people. As of now, I'm shutting down the weapons manufacturer. As of now, you know, Obadiah explains to him. He's like, Tony, that's what we do. We're gonna start doing baby bottles or something for people. Is that what we're gonna start doing baby bottles? He's like, Tony, we're ironmongers. We need to start doing this. He's like, this is killing us and people will die. I can't let this go on. No. They talk about the art record that's 30 years ago, something like that. Obadiah sees his chest and he just tells Tony, just take a couple of days off, just relax for a while. Let me handle some things, okay? You just need to get your mind clear. Tony agrees and does it. And Tony realizes what he needs to do. He starts building his Iron Man suit. He starts testing it. He, prepares to build it. That Mark wants to, shrink it down to, a limited size like this. And he's firing a weapon. He's trying to fly. And I thought, when he's trying to use the hovers, use the boost to fly, he picks up and hits the wall, which I thought was funny. And tried to do a shot. And then Obadiah saying, start talking to him about the company a little more, about what they need to do, but Stark won't listen. Says goodbye, Obadiah. Like, no, you can't come down, see what I'm doing. Then he's working more, he's just testing it, and he's flying through the cars, which is cool. And he's like, all right, I'm ready. And yeah, he he uses Mark II, which is like kind of an army-looking suit, but the silver suit. And he's like, whoa, and he flies off. He's like, yeah, like, he's flying out first. Sees a kid eating ice cream. And Paul Bettany, he forces Jarvis his machine, basically his robot that talks in his ear and stuff, and the suit. Tony tries to fly the suit up into space, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Well, he does find space, but the suit goes into ice. It's like, doesn't die or anything. Yeah. And he tells him, Jarvis, why don't you throw a little hot red in there, doing in a pretty Iron Man suit, and that he needs to make an appearance. He was invited to this appearance. Stark goes to the party, and he says hi to Obadiah, takes some pictures, and you actually have, he said he thinks he's talking. He says, "Hey, Hugh," but it's actually Stan Lee making a cameo. Yeah, and I miss Stan Lee. We all do. Mm-hmm. But anyway, uh, he makes the cameo. Stark just goes to relax, have a drink, sees Pepper, and by the way, she does look beautiful in the dress as a dance with Pepper. Was that if I make you feel uncomfortable? I was like, yes. If you're my boss, people see you dance and have a dress with no back. Well, I can fire you if that'll take the edge off. And him and Pepper talk about it. He's like, well, people who know who you are, know how you are with women, and it just kind of makes me look strange. Don't you think? And he's like, I forgot to mention earlier he has Pepper too. The art director, sorry, he has to recharge it. She has to go in there. And she's like, well, Pepper, you're the one we got. I always like the dialogue between Tony and Pepper in here. You can tell there's chemistry there, and they're about to share a kiss. And she's like, can you give me a dirty martini with olives, lots of olives, and 3 olives? And he never brings it back because Christine Everhart comes to him. Formers at Stark Industries, they building weapons, including the Jericho missile. Delivered to the Ten Rings are being used to attack Gomeo, Jensen's home village. Stark confronts Stain about Obadiah Stain about the supply of weapons, and he learns that he's trying to place him in the company. Well, he's like, I had to involve you, I had to protect you. But you realize that he's trying to. He finds Obadiah very suspicious of what he's doing. But Tony gets enraged about this when he's getting mad, and he's, with with the with the with the hand, with the beam that comes out of it, beams we would call it that, out of his arm. He shoots at a lamp first. Breaks the light, then just, got it in his hand, and then he, through which is a really cool scene. And then, we get the first awesome moment. Really good Brady Andrews Iron Man when he puts the suit on and everything. Like again, always an awesome suit, and then the mask comes on, he flies off. He flies in his first time as Iron Man. He flies to Afghanistan. These citizens, one's a boy trying to save his father, but the leader of the team is the guy that captured him. One of the promise that let him go is about to kill this boy's father, but Tony, as Iron Man shows up the first time, punches a guy with a suit. The suit gives him strength as well. He can shoot the high beams from the hands of the suit. They're gonna kill people if he don't go away. So he's able to. He doesn't want to hurt the people, so he puts it down. He like targets them like with these little tiny weapons and missiles or whatever, little shots. He's able to take them down. And they kill us to Iron Man like a hero. And Iron Man grabs the guy, clicks him, pushes him down to the ground, and says, "He's all yours." And then he goes flying in the air, and he sees the Joker missile he can destroy, but he gets shot down by a missile. I mean, not a missile, um, a tank. And that's got the cool moment in the trailer you saw where he gets up, to shoot him again. He just moves, shoots a missile out of his arm, and just walks away like a badass. Mm-hmm. Does that cool walk, flies again, you know, goes for another flight. And the military think they have a bogey or something or a threat coming to them. These two F-22 Raptors jets. He phones, Rods. He's like, "Oh, I'm busy right now." And why is one of your weapons in a civilian area? Why didn't you tell me about this, Tony? You should have let me know about that. And they're shooting at him, and Tony's just trying to fly and get away from them, trying to tells them that is me. And they one of the men though he shoots up his plane. You know, can't get his jetpack open, but Iron Man comes over and helps him out. They don't shoot him down, but he gets away. He's like, can you make this up? Just say that it was something he doesn't want people to know his identity. So Rose says that it was just a test or whatever. But with that test comes consequence, even Obadiah's watching on TV. Meanwhile, though, while Tony gets ready to go suit and all that, Ten Rings, they gather the pieces of Stark's prototype suit. Razor meets with Stain in order to change the suit with him. Well, I guess he made a deal with him, kidnapped Tony Stark. He didn't tell him about it. And he says that you can keep the suit, but I guess Raza making a deal with Obadiah Stane was hoping that he would give him these Iron Man suits so he can have his own machine. Because Raza and is a secondary villain by Obadiah is the main villain of the film, but they both want power. I see them as power hungry villains. And of course, that was Raza's downfall. That's why Obadiah was able to defeat him. He has this like earpieces he can wear. Pushes a button, it's like it can paralyze you. Technology. Ears kill is here, my friend. And Stan betrays him. It says, "Okay, we're done here. Take everything, take care of them." And he has them eliminated and killed. And he takes the suit, everything for himself, and staying over to scientists at this Sector 16 to reverse the injury from the wreckage to rebuild the suit. Tony wants to find any other weapons left to the Ten Ring Stark since he trusts Pepper. But Pepper's hesitant. She's like, "Tony, if you're going to do this again, build weapons again, I can't be part of this. I don't want to be a part of this." He said, this is the next mission. He's like, "This is my purpose in life, you know, and I'm not going to be killed. In fact, I should be dead. But you know what? Maybe I came back for a reason, just to be Iron Man, just to be this." She saw him in she knows he's Iron Man. She saw him in the suit. She's like, "This is not the most awkward position you've seen me in when he's trying to get out of the suit." But he's like, "Maybe this is just what I'm meant to do." And Pepper, I trust you very much, and I need your help. You're the only one that can. You're my friend. And he's like, "Okay." So she goes to Stain's office. Potts finds evidence of Stain supplying weapons to the terrorists, and that he hired the terrorists to kill Stark in Afghanistan. She has an uncomfortable encounter with Stain. She keeps it cool though. He's just talking to her, and he's saying, Tony's lucky to have a beautiful woman like you get to be his assistant. So I was like, is that today's paper? Can I see it, please? Puzzle. Yeah. And knowing she's up to something, checks his computer. She uh, downloaded something from his computer information, and she's mad because now she knows something. She meets up with Phil Coulson, who is the of the Strategic Homeland Intervention and Enforcement Logistic Division. Okay, Phil Mouth. Shield, basically. To inform her of Stane's activity, she does. Stane scientists reveal that they cannot finish his suit as no one can manage to start heart reactor. You know, and he gets from Obadiah and he's like, Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps. And the guy's like, well, I'm not Tony Stark, sir. So instead, he uses the sonic taser on Stark. She's going to call him and tell him about the information on Obadiah, but he's like, he uses the stand on him. And he takes the heart reactor. He's like, well, Tony, I've trusted you for a long time. Now I'm going to owe the company. It's a shame I have to kill Pepper now, but I'm the Iron Man that'll be taking over your company now, or you're dead. But Stark manages to crawl to his lab and saves himself by reusing the original art reactor. Well, he tries to get it. She left him this package that had a reactor heart in it, saying Tony's heart or whatever, something like that. Very sweet. But then this little robot, cute robot, gives it to him, and she asks Roy to go check on it, tells him about what Stane's been doing, and Potts and several SHIELD agents attempt to arrest Stane. He, um, ooh, Rhodes, Rhodes finds Stark with a new heart in there. He's like, that's not going to be enough. He's got to be sorry. He puts on his Iron Man suit. And then he sees the War Machine, says like, next time, baby, which is cool. Star flies off. Meanwhile, Potts and SHIELD agents blow up Coulson. They try to arrest Stane, but he doesn't. He puts the Iron reactor in his suit, becomes Ironmonger. Chases after Pepper. He tries to kill. He kills some of the men, I guess. And she's like, Tony, Obadiah's gonna say he's got like a big suit. Yeah, I know. He's like, get out of there, Pepper. And he comes to the ground. He's like, where do you think you're going here? Services are no longer required. He's got a deep voice, but it's his voice. Iron Man comes to attack Ironmonger. They get into a fight on the freeway, on the highway, whatever. And this lady bumps him over the kids in the car. He picks up. He's like, Tony. I'm enjoying the suit. And he's like, put him down now. Iron Man says, put him down. He's like, collateral damage, Tony. Kicks him, and it's a bit of a hard match because he's a bigger suit, so it's a bit of a hard match for him. And Brad was like, Tony, for years I've been holding you up and down for 30 years, you little man child. And he's like, he's like, you took flight, and he's like, I managed to do some of that my own time. So he flies up in the air, tries to grab him. Like, did you fix the ice problem? Ice problem. Freezes up and hits him. Stark then lures Stain at the top of the Stark Industries. Well, he says, I'm about to be finished, Pepper. Then he sneaks up on him. He's about to crush him. Crushes him. About to do the crushing. He lets go. Stark tries to hide from Obadiah, and he's able to, destroy his targeting system. And he can't shoot at him because his the hands are gone from the weapon. He just got no hands, and tries to shoot him. And he's like, Tony, I love this suit. He destroys his Iron Man mask by breaking it. And he's like, you destroyed my targeting system, Tony. I'll steal you, I'll kill you, little prick. Tries to shoot him and shoot missiles at him. And he gets Potts to go into the art reactor. An electrical surge in it. Presley's like, but you'll die. He's like, do it now! Because he's so close from getting killed by Obadiah. I think there's a little scene where they're talking, but, you know. But anyway, what happens is they explode the electric, and it causes the armor to fall into the exploding reactor, and it kills him. He just passes out, and he falls in the reactor, and Obadiah dies. The president of the armored hero, though, Iron Man. Agent Coulson gives Stark a cover story to explain the events of the night, and he talks with, and him and Pepper talk, where they dub him Iron Man. That the cover up saying he was a bodyguard, saying that you were at a lake or whatever. And Tesla was like, remember that night, the night that you didn't bring me back for drinking? There's that little chemistry between them there, having a girlfriend. You can tell that a relationship is building up. But anyway, Tony goes to the press conference. He begins giving Tony up, and he's like, knowing Tony Spencer enjoying the tension of being Iron Man. It was ego. He says at the end of the line where Robert Downey Jr. improvises and says, "I am Iron Man," and then the movie ends there. Yeah, but then we get the end credit scene of, like I said, spoilers. Nick Fury showing up. Vince starts home. He's like, "You're not the only superhero in the world you think you were." I was like, "I want to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative." And Tony's like, "Okay, maybe I'm interested." And then building. This is leading up to the Avengers, basically. See, this is how Marvel does it. But anyway, that's the end of the movie. That's over after the end credits. Always in the Marvel movies, even if you have it on DVD or Blu-ray like I do, just get fast forward to the credits, and there will be an end credit there that leads up to something. Or you know, definitely one of the best end credit scenes I've seen. But every Marvel MCU movie has to have, because what I love about Marvel, what they do with this, and that was in the movie. Yeah, they build it up. You know, they took their time. You know. But anyway, some quotes from the movie real quick. Is it better to be feared or respected? I say, is it too much to ask for both? That's how Dad did it. That's how America does it, and it's how it worked pretty well for so far. Find an excuse to let one of those the chain, and I personally guarantee the bad guys won't even want to come out of their caves. Do you really think that just because you have an idea it belongs to you? Your father, he helped us give us the atomic bomb. Now, what kind of a world would it be today if he was as selfish as you? Mr. Stark, you've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that? Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint. What do you say to your nickname, Merchant of Death? That's not bad. I have your clothes here. They've been dry cleaned and pressed. Oh, there's a car waiting for you outside that will take you anywhere you'd like to go. You must be the famous spare parts. Indeed, I am. After all these years, 20 stars, you picking up dry cleaning, I do think everything that Mr. Stark requires, including occasionally taking out the trash. Would that be all? We gotta go. Come on, move with me. I have a plan. We're going to stick it. That always has a plan, Stark. My family's dead, Stark, and I'm going to see them. No, it's okay. I want this. I want this. Thank you for saving me. Don't waste it. Don't waste your life, Stark. I never got to say goodbye to my father. Those questions I would have asked him. I would have asked him how he felt about what his company did. He was conflicted. He never had doubts. If he ever had doubts, or maybe he was ever an injured man we remember from the newsreels. I saw young Americans killed by the very weapons I created to defend them and protect them. And I saw that I had become part of that system. That was their accountability. I had my eyes open, and I came to realize I had more to offer to this world than just things that blow up. And that is why, fundamentally, I am shutting down Stark Industries. You had a great idea, Tony, but my suit is more advanced in every way. How did you solve the icing problem? Icing problem? Yeah, there's some good dialogue in there. But anyway, let me give my final opinion on it. Yeah, I know we're almost an hour in, but I'm about to be done, folks. Just let me share my final thoughts on this film. I'm very close to being done. Yes, man, I ain't gonna do no reviews tonight, maybe tomorrow. But anyway, guys, I love Iron Man. This is a classic superhero movie. This is one of the best superhero films ever made. I personally think that it deserved to make a lot more money than The Dark Knight. Or let me guess, what was the highest grossing film that year? The Dark Knight. Yeah, of course. Indiana Jones was just one that deserved that. Hancock, wow. Hell, even Hancock made more money. That was Will Smith. I mean, I like Hancock, but I would say this definitely deserved to make more money than this, and then The Dark Knight. You know, I don't get it personally. I think it's a better movie than The Dark Knight, because it feels like a true comic book movie. It's a better story than The Dark Knight. Yeah, Heath Ledger is a better villain, I will admit, than Jeff Bridges, but he was the best thing about that movie. Thing about but that made this movie work for me is the story. I'm invested in the character of Tony Stark, Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. played him so perfectly that I'm invested. Yeah, you don't see Iron Man a whole lot in the movie. You see him, it's an origin story. That's why. The thing is, though, when you have a superhero movie, this does. I'm sure when Jon Favreau made this, he probably took inspiration from Richard Donner's Superman. Yeah, it takes a while in that movie for Superman to enter the picture, but again, it's you got to have a story, a character that you're invested in, and I'm invested in Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. If you fuck, I can't talk. Even if you don't like Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, you can't tell me that he's horrible. No, he's great. Robert Downey Jr. Even in the sequels, in the movies, he's great. He is Tony Stark Iron Man. There is nobody else. Do not replace him. I don't think he should play Doctor Doom though. I know they announced that, but I'm like, that's a shitty idea. I think Robert's just doing it for the money. For me, his time ended in Endgame. You know, when his character died, he should not have done another Marvel movie. Maybe he could work with DC. I could see that. Playing a villain in DC. I can't think of which villain. You know what? I wonder how Robert would do. Jr. would do as Doctor Destiny though, like from the Justice League cartoon I watched. That maybe will be interesting. I'd rather have him play that. He should play a villain or in DC. I'd rather see Robert in a Batman movie. Robert Patterson. Like as a Batman villain. I don't know. Maybe the Clock King. I don't. I'm just guessing. Or Man Bat. I could probably see Robert doing that. But don't be Doctor Doom. No, please. It's totally out of the blue. It's like Robert's just doing it for the money. But despite that, though, the film. This reason I love it is because I'm invested in the story of Iron Man. It's a good story. Tony Stark is a billionaire playboy. He's a guy that he's a womanizer. He sleeps with women. He doesn't really give a crap about life. He just sells weapons, makes money, enjoys making money off of it, parties all the time until he realizes when he gets captured, meets Jensen, and is forced to build this shit. Forced to build this weapon. He realizes that in the that he wants to right the wrongs of what he's done, and he does that. That's what he's trying to do in this movie, trying to destroy those weapons and fight good for mankind as Iron Man and becomes a hero. And it's a very investing story. Obadiah is a good villain who he's the opposite. He loves making money. He sees Tony Stark as just a man child, who I think has always been jealous of Tony because Tony took over the business. And I think that's when that hatred of him began. That when he started to dislike Tony and desire to take over, that's why he had him try to kill, take over the company for himself. I think, like I say, he's probably just power hungry and making a lot of money from it, and is willing to murder to do that. Because to him, people are just collateral damage. He's very cold, calculated, and menacing, and doesn't give a crap. But he's a good villain, right? You say he's an older man, but hey, he's smart. Obadiah is a dangerous, smart villain, but Iron Man has to outsmart him and he defeats him at the end, along with Pepper. Who good love interest, a good chemistry between Robert and Gwyneth Paltrow here. They have chemistry. I like the dialogue. You can tell that the romance is slowly building between them, and they don't force it. Which I'm kind of glad we didn't need to have them kiss that much. Would they kiss at all? They saved that for the sequels, which I'm glad they did. Here, the romance is just building up. And I like Terrence Howard, but I do prefer Don Cheadle. By the way, Don Cheadle, 60 years old today. I want to say happy birthday, Don Cheadle. Happy birthday, today's his birthday. So, but I do think Don Cheadle is better. But I like Terrence Howard as well. I think he had a falling out with Marvel. I don't know the whole story there, you know. But he was good as James Ross, in my opinion. Lisa Babe was good. Jon Favreau told you he was good. Uh, the film has a good story. You have a great cast, like I mentioned, really good cast. Uh, Johnny Todd as Jensen was great. The cast was really good. Jon Favreau did a great job directing. He is definitely one of the best. As I stated, yeah, stated. Sorry, as I'm saying before, Jon Favreau was one of the best, I think, film directors out there. I put him up there with Richard Donner, Tim Burton, and even Sam Raimi. You know, or Stephen Norrington, I think, who directed Blade. And Bryan Singer. who directed the first two X-Men movies. And Jordan Ezra was, I don't, I can't really talk. Sorry, it's nighttime, folks. Forgive me. And it was Thanksgiving yesterday, so it was a bit of a holiday week too. So, but yeah, the story is really good. The cast is good. The directing and the writing is good. And the cinematography is nice. The CGI special effects, the Iron Man suit's cool. Seeing him wear the Iron Man suit, yeah, CGI, but it's good. And when the action is there, it's awesome. You know, it's unlike the Dark Knight though, which in my opinion gets boring at times. It's like seeing Hong Kong where it's crappy, and the whole ending with the Joker blowing up, wanting to blow up the boats. That just went on far too long. That movie is just way too long. And yeah, the chasing was the most interesting chase of that movie. The movie had lame fight scenes. This had better action scenes, in my opinion. No, it's not meant to be realistic because it's a comic book film. Iron Man's a comic book character. We don't need realism in the movies, okay? That doesn't work for me. Yeah. And he doesn't have a shitty voice either, like Christian Bale does. Mm. And Iron Man's a badass in this film, yes. And he kicks plenty of ass, with his suit. Yeah, you get some awesome badass action. Good music or good music or of that Iron Man song by Ozzy Osbourne. Mm. Da, 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 da. I remember hearing playing when I played the video game on PlayStation 2. That was great to listen to. Yeah, but I'm glad Jon Favreau did it. Good directing and good writing, good cinematography as well, good action as well, good story, good cast, and good special effects too for the time. Ironmonger should look cool. I thought Jeff Bridges is definitely an underrated villain. Sometimes the MCU villains could be hit or miss, but this is where they started to do good villains. I thought Jeff Bridges did a good job. Always a little over top of Abraham said, well, he's having fun. Villains are supposed to be sometimes over the top and crazy. Sometimes it can be in a good way. Well, I thought it was a good way. Sometimes it's in a bad way when they scream or yell too much. But I feel like Jeff Bridges didn't do that. He can be calm and very cruel at times, and he does it very well. And yeah, Robert Downey Jr., all that stuff he went through his life, he adds in here. He was perfect for Tony Stark. I can't see nobody else in the role. You can't have nobody else play. Marvel, do not cast another person to play Iron Man because this is the one only Iron Man. You know, don't do it. If they do it, I'll be done with Marvel for good. I'm like, oh, never recast him. You know, leave it alone. We've had him in the three Iron Man movies. We had the Avengers movies with him dying in Endgame. You don't need any more. Oh, spoiler, yeah, he does in Endgame. But you've probably seen Avengers Game. If you're watching this video, you've seen Endgame. You probably know that already. But yeah, Iron Man, classic movie. The first MCU movie, great start to a really good start to the Marvel franchise, to MCU's franchise. And this is the one that started it all. So you can be thankful for Kevin Feige and Jon Favreau and Robert Downey Jr. and all the cast for making a great movie here. If not for them, any Marvel movies you like, or any of the superhero movies that we get nowadays, well, I would say a bunch of them we get is probably because of Iron Man. Because, yeah, and some of it the Dark Knight too, I'll admit. Heath Ledger was great, as the villain. But that's more of a crime drama. But anyway, I'm not going to get more into that. But anyway, that was my review of Iron Man 2008, reviews of Iron Man 2008. So guys, tell me the comments, my rating for this film. I'm going to give Iron Man 5 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up. So, guys, tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of the first Iron Man film and the first MCU Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? What do you think of this movie in your opinion? Do you like it or do you hate it? Sorry for the glare. Tell me in the comments down below, what do you think of it in your opinion? And if you don't like it, that's fine. If you don't like, no, I'm just playing. I'm playing. I'm kidding. Anyway, next will be another revisit review. This came out the same year as Iron Man. This is the second MCU movie, but this came out in June. And I love this movie. This is the best Hulk movie in my personal look. Screw Ang Lee's Hulk. This was definitely better. And that is, I will be doing a revisit review probably tomorrow for Saturday for the Incredible Hulk. So, but tonight I will be sharing my original review on the playlist tonight on my channel. You'll see it there if you look. Yep. But I'll be doing a revisit review on the Incredible Hulk. And see, this gets special features though a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Why didn't Iron Man get special features? This film was definitely, yeah. But this is definitely the black sheep, in my opinion, of the MCU franchise. But the Incredible Hulk, this will be next, so stay tuned for this. starring Edward Norton, like Liv Tyler, Tim Roth, Tim Blake Nelson, and William Hurt. So that's coming up next. Thanks for watching. So stay tuned for my next review, The Incredible Hulk 2008 film. So, and once again, my rating for Iron Man is 5 out of 5 stars. And thumbs up. Tell me guys in the comments below what you think of Iron Man in your opinion. And stay tuned for my next 2008 review. That is a previous review for The Incredible Hulk coming up next. So, see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.